Welcome to the Best of British Business campaign. I'm Rachel Hicks. We need to save energy and water in the construction of everything from new homes to ageing water suppliers. So how is the traditional building sector best placed to embrace new ways of working to deliver resilient, affordable and sustainable solutions? That's what we're going to talk about today with Richard Pedley and Craig Norman from Aliaxis. Now, we often hear that buildings are planned and designed with sustainability in mind. Is that just marketing hype or is it true?
I think there's some truth to it. The industry has definitely moved forward, and I think we can see some examples in our architecture and buildings that they are, the most important part of that is sustainability. But I also think there is an element that we're trying to tick a box rather than actually really trying to tackle the problem. Developers at the moment are trying to fit to the legislation, not necessarily looking at the full envelope of the building.
Just to stick at the moment with the system not quite working, can you give me an example of perhaps where only a partial solution has perhaps failed?
Yeah, so there's a whole mix and array of energy efficient type of products. Historically, applications have been very, very separate. And each of the areas of hot and cold or soil and waste or within the utility space have been treated in silos.
Okay, so you tell me that developers are putting elements into buildings, but that they're not joining those elements up. There's not a kind of joined up thinking to their installation. So what does Aliaxis bring to the table?
Yeah, so Aliaxis, as a brand as it is today, is built on some well-recognised industry brands. And what gives us that more holistic view is we have strong brands in the building, in the industry, and that's why we can see that bigger picture.
Okay, so you've talked about how a holistic solution is needed, how it needs to be end-to-end. What innovation specifically do you see Aliaxis bringing to the table?
I think talking about water quality and the importance in maintaining that water quality for our day-to-day use, we have a system called Protector Line, which is a barrier pipework system designed to protect drinking water through contaminated land. So, for example, the government and the developers are building more houses onto brownfield sites. And I think in those brownfield sites, they could be used for industry or for anything that could leave contaminants in that land. And a standard polyethylene blue pipe, for example, that we'd use for standard applications would not be suitable, as it would potentially contaminate the water supply. The contaminants would leach to that pipe over time. And the Protector Line offers a unique solution that can give that peace of mind in that application, in that type of ground situation.
And I think it's really important for us to not underestimate the health benefit that plastic brings. Traditional materials, for a simple view, is they get dirty inside the pipe, they corrode, and it closes the envelope of that pipe. But the health benefit there is that it doesn't build up the bacteria, such as like Legionnaire's disease, in that pipe to really affect the underwood end user. So by the surface of those pipes are really smoother in plastic. It allows that system to operate much more efficiently over the lifespan of that product.
Craig, looking 5 to 7 years hence, how do you see the industry changing?
I think the future is really bright. I think there's a lot for us to kind of cover in a space where there's a lot of opportunity for us to take as Aliaxis, but I think also in the construction business and industry to really kind of make a change. And it's an opportunity for us to think differently. I think there's an opportunity for us to really challenge what technology goes into buildings and actually think about it being more holistic and really getting into the detail of how do we conserve our energy and consumption through buildings.
This was Richard Pedley and Craig Norman from Aliaxis.